Yo, welcome to the Ant-Man channel. It is Monday the 26th of January 2015, and I'm your host, Ant-Man. Excuse me. In front of me, I got an article from ClashDaily.com. We got an article written by Noreen O'Brien, published yesterday, called At All Costs, Left's Mission to Make Everything Better. Yeah, at all costs. See the peanut gallery, over there at, you know, in Washington seems to, the Republicans these days, couldn't make it more obvious to you that they are also in the back pockets of special interest groups. We don't have a left and right paradigm, but of course, when we say left, we're talking about an ideology, a certain belief system that certain people hold on to. So let's get on with it, shall we? Some people do all they can to escape the pain in life. They eat, they drink, they deny, they beat their chest to the heavens and ask God why. For these people, life has become less of a gift from God, but rather a duty that should be soldiered through. The trouble is not many of them act like soldiers. To them, life is about correcting all they see wrong, unfair, and unequal, never looking inward, but always looking at someone else and their shortcomings. So much is our pride, and there's so much I could say about that, but you guys already know what I'm going to say. They believe fixing others can only make one's life richer and in turn society better. I guess osmosis is their god. The problem with this attitude is that it's based on fantasy, not fact, and it's hurting children. After listening to Mr. Obama in the State of the Union the other night, the thing that struck me most was his New World comment and that global warming was the greatest threat to mankind today. Red flags. This from a man who chose to be interviewed by a woman who bathes in her breakfast. I'm sorry, but if cereal sales don't also suffer under this president, I'd be very surprised. Excuse me. Anyway, excuse me, Mr. President, but I think you and your minions are the greatest threat to mankind today. Right now, the youth misery index, yes, there really is such a thing, is the worst it's ever been at 106.5. Jumping a record 8 points since 2013 with an overall increase of 53.7 under Obama's watch. The youth are no longer buying into Obama's pie-in-the-sky worldview, and they are beginning to understand just what getting older is going to mean to their future. No wonder he wanted these YouTube stars to interview him. But the kids of today need not worry because the left is on the case ready to right the world's wrongs. Here are just a few of the ways the left has chosen to correct day-to-day problems. According to one transgender couple, their adopted son was having trouble explaining his two dads to his little friends, so the dads told him to tell the kids at school that sometimes men have babies. This, they explained, was the kinder thing to say to kids. I think the fact that two men were able to adopt should be explained to all of us. A 4-year-old had a small tantrum in class, and are you sitting down? He knocked some things off his desk to the floor. The solution, after they called his mother, they decided that wasn't enough for this little free thinker. They also called the police. But just in case that wasn't enough to keep him from committing another act of violence, the police shackled him, threw him into a squad car, drove him to the station, and had 4 inmates scare him straight for 4 hours. That's mental abuse, by the way. That's totally horrific and disgusting. Well done. We now have at least one future Prozac independent Democratic voter to add to the ranks. The solution to homeschooling: if the school board can't scare parents into putting their children back into state-run insane asylums, have the state do it for you. Find out something about the parents, anything, and use it as a pretense to steal their kids. In one case, the state used the fact the father had a harmless organic substance in his home. I'm not sure how they found this out, but the state they deemed it dangerous and the kids were removed. So it wasn't pot, which would have been okay. A woman saw a couple of youngsters walking by themselves one afternoon and decided to call the police. Maybe the kids were, menacing the neighborhood. The police show up and put the kids into the car and drove them home, demanding ID and an explanation from the dad. He refused, and six cop cars show up at his house. He was told to get his identification and that he better come back with it or he would be arrested. Yeah. USA, USA. The parents were also informed and made to sign a paper when children's services got there, and they better not let their kids walk alone again until the investigation is concluded. Just absolutely crazy. I watched the interview last night, by the way. It wasn't that funny. What do you expect from Hollywood? It was okay, actually. It wasn't like the fun. I don't know. Some of you probably like, Matt, what are you doing? You're a Christian watching secular movies where you know they're gonna curse and probably even say Jesus' name in vain or whatnot. Fact of the matter, I was kind of interested in how like the whole political thing goes on, like how if they would mention politics, and they did. Interestingly, the guy that plays King Jong Un, he actually mentions that that we have so much more people in prison than they do over there in in North Korea. I'm just like it's absolutely amazing because it's true. And to hear that coming from a movie, like you would think the general public would wake up to something as crazy as that. You know what I mean? There are so many people in jail in this country, man. It's amazing. I don't know the exact number and like the percentage and whatnot, but I honestly have seen it before and it's mind-boggling, man. It really is. This country is socially engineered to create criminals to fill a prison system to line politicians' pockets. They own the media, they own the prison system. It's all mind control, all of it. And you know what I mean? There are people that talk about this. Charlotte Iserby is someone you could look up. She's really amazing. She worked for the Ronald Reagan administration. She broke down all of the indoctrination that went on in this country during Ronald Reagan's time. But anyway, school lunch better be up to snuff as well, or you'll hear it from these defenders of good. One dad was told to sign an agreement stating his daughter's school lunch was to contain healthier snack alternatives to chocolate. He refused and the school backed down. Score one for the good guys, although that line is beginning to blur. So maybe Obama is right. This is a new world, one in which the power to govern ourselves is to raise children as parents see fit is almost gone. The Youth Misery Index sure seems to think so. Maybe self-reliance, integrity, and self-determination, if not given up willingly, will be taken by force from us all. Some people see the world through rose-colored glasses. I hope it's not hereditary. The only thing I got to say to this is that if you want to make the government think you don't want to take care of your kids, you don't want to take care of the way you run your life, when it comes to your property, your finances, how you invest, all of that kind of stuff, how you do business, they will tell you how to do it for you. That is the progressive mindset. We're the smart people. You're obviously the people that want to sell your liberty off for a little bit more convenience and comfortable living and no hardship. So we'll tell you how to run your life. Unfortunately, these people become crazy obsessed with the environment, and these people they don't have a good worldview to back up their hypothesis when it comes to what they think is going on with the environment. So instead of worshiping the creator, they worship the creation, and they also use it for corrupt motives to get more money out of you by suckering you into man-made global warming. We know that there are certain things going on with our sun right now that is creating a hotter atmosphere on Earth because the sun is going through a season where it's becoming very hot right now. It's even shooting solar flares. I have a lot of articles that I post up here about how a solar flare can knock out our entire power grid. You know what I mean? Right now, our infrastructure is vulnerable. But that's a whole different other topic. The topic here at hand is that we need to get back to American heritage and teach